Hello and welcome back. In our last conversation, we explored the incredible power of the pause, that simple yet profound act of stopping for just a moment before we speak or act. Today, I want to dive a little deeper into what happens in that space. We're going to unpack something many of us struggle with. The difference between truly listening to ourselves and just reacting to our emotions. It's a subtle distinction, but understanding it can fundamentally change how you navigate your inner world and your relationships with others. So let's start by defining what reacting really is. Reacting is our brain's autopilot. It's fast, it's automatic, and it's often unconscious. It's a defense mechanism, a pattern etched into our neurology from years of experience. Think about it. You receive an email from your boss and the tone feels just a little bit critical. What happens? Before you've even fully processed the words, your heart rate might quicken. Your shoulders tense up. Your mind instantly starts drafting a defensive reply, listing all the reasons why the criticism is unfair or a misunderstanding. That whole cascade of events, the physical tension, the emotional spike, the mental justification, that's a reaction. It happens in a split second. You didn't consciously choose to feel attacked. Your system just reacted. It's a survival instinct. Something feels threatening, so the alarm bells go off. It's another common example is getting stuck in traffic when you're already late. The immediate frustration, the honking, the muttering under your breath, that's not a thoughtful response to the situation. It's a pure, unfiltered reaction to the feeling of being trapped and powerless. These reactions are so ingrained that we often don't even notice them as separate events. They feel like a part of us, like the only natural way to respond. This brings us to a crucial point. Why do we so often mistake reacting for listening to ourselves? The answer is that reactions feel incredibly personal. When you feel that surge of anger or that sting of defensiveness, it feels real. It feels like you asterisk. The emotion is so strong and immediate that it masquerades as your own authentic voice. You think, I'm angry, so I must act on this anger. This is me being true to myself. We tell ourselves we're being decisive, that we're standing up for ourselves. In reality, we're just being swept away by a current. True inner listening, on the other hand, is much quieter. It doesn't scream for attention. It's a gentle, patient awareness that sits beneath the noisy surface of our emotions. Imagine your mind is a stormy sea. The reaction is the giant wave crashing onto the charrettes, loud, powerful, and impossible to ignore. But listening is the deep, calm water underneath. It's always there, but you have to be willing to dive beneath the turbulent surface to find it. Because reactions are so dramatic and demand immediate action, we trick ourselves into believing they are our truest impulse, our most honest choice. We think, I feel it, therefore it is me. But that's a dangerous confusion. Feeling is just a visitor. It's not the house itself. So how do we begin to tell the difference? The key lies in finding the space between the feeling and the action. This is the pause we talked about, but let's explore it more. It's a moment of pure awareness. Let's go back to that critical email. The trigger arrives in your inbox. The feeling, let's say, a mix of anxiety and injustice surges up. Now, here's the critical moment. Right before your fingers start typing that defensive reply, there is a tiny, almost imperceptible gap. It's the space where you can notice, I am feeling defensive right now. My body is tense. My mind is racing. In that moment of noticing, you are no longer the reaction. You are the observer of the reaction. You've created a sliver of daylight between the stimulus and your response. This space is where your power lies. It's where you can move from being a puppet of your emotions to being the director of your own life. Noticing this space is a skill, and like any skill, it takes practice. At first, you might only notice it after you've already reacted. You'll send the email and then think, wow, I was really triggered back there. That's a great start. The more you practice, the closer your awareness will get to the actual moment of the trigger, till one day, you'll catch yourself right before you hit send. You'll feel the surge, but you'll also feel the space. And in that space, you can ask a powerful question. How do I truly want to respond to this? Now, a common misconception is that this kind of listening is passive. It can feel like you're doing nothing, especially when you're used to the high-energy drama of reacting. Society often rewards quick, decisive action, And so we come to believe that pausing and listening is a sign of weakness or indecision. But this couldn't be further from the truth. Listening is not inaction. It's a profound form of action. It's the act of gathering information, not just from the outside world, but from your inner landscape. It's about understanding the why behind your feeling. Why did that email trigger such a strong reaction? Was it about the email itself, or did it touch on a deeper insecurity about your competence? Is your anger in traffic really about being late, or is it about a feeling of being out of control in other areas of your life? When you listen, you're not ignoring the emotion, you're honoring it by giving it your full, curious attention. You're asking it, what are you here to tell me? This is an act of incredible strength and self-alignment. A response that comes from this place of deep listening is infinitely more powerful and effective than a knee-jerk reaction. It's a response that is aligned with your values, your goals, and your deepest sense of self. It says the difference between blindly firing an arrow in the dark and taking a moment to aim carefully at your target. To be clear, the goal here is not to completely stop reacting. That's impossible, and frankly, not even desirable. Our reactions are part of our human wiring. They protect us and give us vital information. The goal is not to become an emotionless robot. Instead, the goal is to become aware of our reactions as they happen. It's about cultivating the ability to see the wave rising without being immediately swept away by it. It's about building a relationship with your inner world based on curiosity rather than judgment. When you feel a strong emotion, instead of either suppressing it or acting on it impulsively, you can learn to simply hold it. You can say to yourself, okay, anger is here. I'm going to sit with it for a moment and see what it has to say. You create a space for the emotion to exist without letting it dictate your behavior. Over time, you'll find that the intensity of these reactions begins to soften, no longer have the same tight grip on you. You're not trying to control your feelings. You're just choosing not to let them control you. This is the very heart of emotional maturity and inner freedom. This journey of differentiating listening from reacting is a lifelong practice of self-discovery. Each time you catch a reaction, each time you find that space, you learn something new about yourself. You start to untangle the old patterns and write new, more conscious stories for your life. It's a quiet revolution, one that happens moment by moment, breath by breath, inside of you. Thank you so much for joining me today and exploring this with me. I hope it gives you something to reflect on. If you found this helpful, please consider subscribing for more conversations like this. See you next time.